slightest chance to forget the Atman because of sleep, unawareness, matters of the world or sense objects reflect steadily upon the self in the mind. Now, this because of sleep must not be taken as a physical sleeping. It's not a physical sleep. That's why Gurudev has put in bracket unawareness. What happens to us and what has been happening to us is our awareness is so much in the external world. We are so much extroverted that we have no, first of all, in the beginning stages, we don't even have any inkling that there is some sort of an introverted world. We don't even know that inside there is something. We are only thinking this is it, the world is it, and this is what I have to enjoy, indulge, whatever, suffer, enjoy everything. Now that we have come to know that, oh, there is this Atma, who I am Brahman, etc., etc., then now what he's saying is that unawareness you try to reduce, unawareness of the supreme reality. And how do I reduce the unawareness of the supreme reality? Is by reducing the awareness of the external world. To the extent that you start considering the things happening in the world as illusory, as fleeting, as passing by, as not so very real. That's why we have the saying, even this too shall pass. You must be aware that, this sukha came and then it didn't stay. Think about the happiness that you felt 10 years ago when something happened. Do you feel the same happiness now? So this joy never stayed. Then have faith that sorrow has come. It will also not stay. So that is how you come to know that this world is illusory. It's passing by. So today I have joy, tomorrow I'll have sorrow, today I have promotion, tomorrow I'll have demotion, today there was no traffic on the road, I zipped through to my destination, and tomorrow there's going to be huge traffic, I'm going to get caught in traffic. These things will keep happening. Today there is snow, tomorrow there's no snow, tomorrow there's rain now in Vancouver, it's total sunshine today, now tomorrow they're calling for rain. You can't help it. You cannot help it. So transcend over it. So that's why he says, without giving even the slightest chance to forget the Atman. How do you not give a chance to forget the Atman? Is by forgetting the world. Because as long as you keep remembering the world, because the sense organs are going out into the sense objects, you can never remember Atma. Because you're extroverted. And Atma is inside. So this is what he's saying, that reflects steadily. Adhyatma Nitya. Remember that word. Adhyatma, very, very important word from Bhagavad Gita. Nitya, constant remembrance of the Lord. So you bring the Lord in every single experience of your life. Okay? That is what he's saying. This is what will that do? It will reduce the superimposition. That the world is real, I am the body, happiness is in the world. All these are superimpositions. To reduce all this, you need to hold on to what is really real, quote unquote, which means that which doesn't change in the 3 periods of time, that which is not variable, that which can never change. And stop paying attention to the variable, because that's going to change. If you try to change that which is variable, it's like hitting your head on a brick wall, on a stone wall actually. What will happen? Will the stone wall break? No. What will break? Your head. You're going to bleed. So that's what we're doing. We're trying to change the variable. That is very, very certainly going to change the world. And we're trying to change that. Don't bother. Don't even bother. Let it come, let it go. You stay remembering the Lord. Mata pitrormalodbhutam malamansamayam vapuhu tyaktva chandalavaduram brahmi bhuya kriti bhava. Shunning to a safe distance like an outcast, this body which has come from the impurities of the parents and which itself is constituted of flesh and its impurities, assert your divine Brahmic nature and realize the fulfillment of your life. So to get vairagya, dispassion, Bhagwan uses very, very strong words. He says, Mata Pitraham Malodbhutam. It has come from the impurity of the mother and the father. The egg and the sperm. This is impure. So this body has come from there. So if you consider yourself to be the body, and I've told you this many times, then you are urine also, your fecal matter. That's what you're saying. Because body is nothing but that. It is skin and bone and flesh and marrow. We heard that previously. Bhagwan already has said this. Urine, fecal matter. So when I say I'm the body, that means all that I am, which is all just a bag of dirt. So he says, shun it away, throw it away. Physically, nothing is to be done. Huh? Physically, you cannot throw the body away. Only in your mind, understand that you're not the body. And get firm abidance in it, which itself is constituted of flesh and its impurities. Flesh, and he's not saying flesh and other things. He's saying flesh, and it means flesh is also impure, and everything else that is going with that flesh is also impure. You are that pristine, ever pure, one without a second Brahman. So assert this real identity of yours in your mind constantly. This is not to be spoken of in the transactional world. So when you're going about your job and in the, when you enter the train, you do show your bus pass and you pay money because the body is traveling in that train or bus. You have to do that. But in your mind, you know that you're not the body. Okay, this is what he's hammering. He's hammering into us these practices. And why is the hammering? Because we require that. Because we have got such firm abidance in the body and the world that we really need to be breaking off this ties that we have. Okay, that's why the hammering is required. Because all these ideas he has already spoken of, which he's speaking of again. So why do you repeat? Why does one, a small child, don't do that, don't lose the key. Don't, how many times will you eat it? Don't forget to eat your lunch. Don't forget to do this. Don't we repeat? Don't parents repeat to their small children? I have to repeat to my older kid also because he forgets. Did I not tell you to buy this one? No, forget. So I repeat. So we are so firmly established in this thought. That's why all this repetition is required. Okay. Ghatakasham mahakasha ivatmanam paratmani vilapya khanda bhavena tushnim bhava sadamune. Merging the finite ego in the supreme self, like the pot space in the infinite space, by meditating on their identity, be forever peaceful, O sage. So this pot space and Ghatakasha and Mahakasha, space and pot space, example is from Chandogya Upanishad. We have used it many, many times in explaining our Vedantic lectures. There is a pot, and inside that pot is a space, is some space, and we call that as a pot space. But what we have to think is that space really different from the space outside? Is it really different? The way that pot space is being separated from the outside space is because of the walls of the pot. These walls, which are technically called as upadhi, because of this upadhi, we think it's a wrong notion. It's a delusory thinking that the space inside the pot is different. It is pot space as opposed to the space outside. And the reason it's a delusion is because that pot can be broken at any time. And when that pot breaks, can you tell? It's like the river merging into the ocean. What if river has got sweet water, but once it merges with the ocean, can you tell the difference? That, oh, this part is this river and that part is that river. Because one with infinity. Same way. This body is like the pot, is compared to that pot. Within the body, the supreme reality is Atma, which is known as Atma, because I told you,
Is your thing frozen or are we?
It's just JJ, you froze for the last 1 minute.
Oh, I wonder why that is happening. Oh, my internet connection is unstable. I'm getting a message. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Okay. All right. So the example that is being used here is Ghatakasha and Mahakasha. You've heard that portion, right? There is space within the pot and then there is space outside. In our case, there is Atma within our body. It's Atma, and as Brahman, it is all pervading as well. So Brahman word is used for the same entity with respect to the totality, and Atma word is used for the same entity with respect to the individuality. And I've given you this example. When I'm with my children, I am referred to as mother, and when I'm with my parents, I'm referred to as a daughter. But the entity is the same. It's me only. Same way. It is pure consciousness called as Brahman when we are referring to the entire universe world. And it's called as Atma. So this Ghatakasha, pot space, is Atma, and Mahakasha, the total space, is Brahman. Just as there is no difference between Ghatakasha, the space within the pot, inside the pot, and the outside space, same way. There is no difference between Atma and Brahman. All right? These are thoughts that we have to keep reflecting upon. Many, many thoughts are given. Hold on to that which resonates with you. And as your mind becomes more and more sattvic, these ideas will stay with you more and more. The sattvic mind is a quiet mind. It's a strong mind. It's a pure mind, purified mind. In purified minds, these type of ideas will stay and they will come. You will recollect them when they are required. Okay? All right. Swaprakashamadhishtanam swayambhuya sadatmana brahmandamapi pindandam tyajyatamala yourself becoming the self-luminous Brahman, the sole substratum of all things, reject the macrocosm and the microcosm like two unclean parcels. See, this rejecting of microcosm and macrocosm, this idea, those of you who have attended Bhagavad Gita lectures, we have seen this as para and apara prakriti in chapter 7, apara, apara and turiya. And we have also seen it in 13th chapter, Kshara, Akshara, Purusha, Kshetra and Kshetrajna. And then in 15 is Kshara, Akshara, Purusha and Purushottama. This is what is being said here. So there is a totality and there is an individuality. Now, if you remember the Gurudev's chart, do we have it? Dinesh, do you have it? Oh no, you're in office. Okay. So for those of you who have seen Gurudev's chart, there is Om at the top, then there is V, Vasanas, right? BMI, PFT, and OET. Everybody knows? Body, mind, intellect, perceiver, feeler, thinker, objects, emotions, thoughts. Now, this is the individual chart. Exactly like this chart, there is a totality chart, total. Okay, and that totality chart is called as the macrocosm, macro, big, and this is micro, small, microcosm. Now, in the microcosm, what we have individual, the causal body is known as pradnya, the subtle body is known as taijasa, and the gross body is known as Virat, Vishwa or Virat, both Vishwa or Virat. Now, in the macrocosm, what we have is Ishvara. See, on this side, on the individual side is Pradnya, on the totality side is Ishvara. Here it is Taijasa, there it is Hiranyagarbha, total mind. And here it is Virat or Vishwa, there it is Vaishvanara. So what is being said here, we have three bodies, gross, subtle and causal. Individual also, these bodies are there. total also these bodies are there. Okay, and what is being now told, it's a very subtle thought, is that this individual, so jiva, it is a superimposition on the pure consciousness, but you must understand that Ishvara also is a superimposition on the pure consciousness. And therefore what he's saying is you have to reject both. That's why a jiva, please note, no matter how hard you try, you can never become Ishvara. You cannot become Ishvara. Who is Ishvara technically? Pure consciousness plus Maya. You cannot become Ishvara. We cannot become Ishvara, no matter what we do. Because in our quest to become Ishvara, what will happen is the individuality will merge and we will actually recognize ourselves to be that ultimate substratum upon which Ishvara also has been superimposed. It is like the salt doll wanted to know the depth of the ocean. So she jumped into the ocean. But before she could reach the deep end of the ocean to measure it, she melted into the ocean. She merged with the infinite. Once she merged with the infinite, can there be boundaries? Are there boundaries in infinity? There are no boundaries in infinity. This idea of microcosm and macrocosm has been explained in Bhagavad Gita as this Kshara Akshara Purusha, Para Apara Prakriti, and Kshetra Kshetranyam. And what is beyond this is the pure consciousness. Therefore, that Om, the Om is the same in both the individual chart and the totality chart. So Om on top remains the same. On this side, we have Pradnya, Taijasa, and Virat, which is the individual, Virat or Vishwa, either one. On the other side, we have Ishvara, we have Hiranyagarbha, and we have Vaishvanara. Both Ishvara and Pradnya, that is Jiva and Ishvara, have been superimposed on the supreme reality, the substratum. And that is what we need to recognize ourselves to be.
Deji, I have a diagram I found. Do you want me to share? Yeah.
Can you share it? At least that will be the individual.
Is it too large or is it too small?
No, this is, I can see it clearly. Can everybody see it? Perfect. So see, there is Virat, Vishwa, Hiranyagarbha, Taijasa, subtle body, and Ishvara and Pradnya, causal body. Forget about the waking, dream, and deep sleep. Don't see that. So this Virat, see, macro and micro. Now this meditation symbol Om, which is on the left, applies to both. It applies to both. Okay, there is not a separate Om for Ishvara and a separate Om for the microcosm. There is only one Om, and that is the substratum upon which these two are being projected. All right. Great. Thank you, Dinesh. This microcosm and microcosm should be understood. And I've given you the example of the team and the team leader. So the team is the jiva and team leader is that macrocosm. But the macrocosm, the team leader cannot exist if the team is dissolved. In an office setting, there is one team leader and he has 5 team members. Because of the team members, he is called as a team leader, isn't it? Is he a team leader if there is those 5 people are fired, say, the team is dissolved? Does he remain as a team leader? Who is he leading? All the members are gone. So Ishvara, this totality, Ishvara remains as long as the jivas are there. If all the jivas were to recognize their own self as the substratum, there won't be any Ishvara only. Is this point clear? Anybody has any questions? Everybody is like dead silent. So either you're like totally enlightened.
The jivas will always be there.
The jivas will always be there, correct. And therefore, Ishvara will always be there. As long as the team is there, the team leader cannot dissolve. The team leader can never dissolve. Right?
That's for the world to keep going.
For the world to keep going. Because why is the world going? Because the vasanas are there. Yes, somebody said something else.
Yeah, Jayji, this is Kalpana.
Yes.
I just confused. There's so many different words for the same thing.
Yes.
Sometimes I get totally confused.
Yes, I can understand. Yeah, yeah. Any particular word that you're getting confused about that I can explain? Because
Hiranyagarbha, and then now you've introduced two other words for the same thing, right? Because on the individual, like
on the individual side, no. Hiranyagarbha on the total side, the Taijasa.
Yeah, but see, Hiranyagarbha, then that's also Ishwar, right?
Hiranyagarbha is the subtle body of the Ishvara, which is Ishvara is the causal body.
Right.
See, if you look at our Gurudev's chart now, there is Om on top, there is V for Vasanas, okay? And perfect. So now you see this chart, there is Om, the supreme consciousness, then the Vasanas, body, mind, and intellect. Now, the way this chart is divided, the body is the gross body. The M and I, mind and intellect together form the subtle body, and the vasanas is the causal body. So now there are only three bodies, Sharira. Why are they known as Sharira? Because all of them can be dissolved. Sharira, remember the definition of Sharira is Kshetra from chapter 13. And in Kshetra, I explained to you that Kshetra is something which constantly changes, which is inert. So here there are three. Same way, there is a chart of macrocosm. Now in that macrocosm, the V is known as Ishvara, causal body. See, the V is causal body, that is Ishvara.
Right.
The subtle body, which is M plus I that you saw, is known as Hiranyagarbha. Okay. And then the gross body is known as Virat. That's why we have the Purusha Sukta describing the Virata, the total body. The reason it is, what is Hiranya? Hiranya is gold.
Yeah.
Garbha is womb. Garbha, right? In Hindi also the word is like Garbha is womb. Womb of gold. Okay. What is the significance of a womb of gold? Means it has got all the knowledge in that mind. Where is knowledge arising? Is it arising in the gross body for us, or is it arising in the mind intellect stuff? That's why it is called as Hiranyagarbha, because total knowledge Ishvara has of all the jivas. Okay, see, we also have Taijasa, we have subtle body. Do I have the complete knowledge of all the, do I have complete knowledge of all the people that are attending this class also? Forget the rest of the world. Even the people that are attending, I don't know. Right? But Hiranyagarbha knows every, right from, you know, I read somewhere that in a book I'm reading now, by one of the Swamijis of the Vedanta Society, Swami Vivekananda and Ramakrishna Param, that their lineage, their Advaita Vedanta, in their, you know, what a powerful statement. He says that Ishvara hears the footsteps of the ant. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? So many ants are walking this earth. Every ant footstep, it seems he can hear. So imagine what kind of powerful, subtle body he has. We can't even hear what is happening in our own house. And we don't know sometimes what our own children are doing. That is the power of Ishvara. Nevertheless, it has to be understood that Ishvara also is a superimposition on the Om, on the supreme substratum. Because if you say that Ishvara is real, then you're saying that there are two real entities. One is Brahman, one is Ishvara. Not possible. Not possible.
So,
does that explain a little bit?
I'll keep working away.
If you have the book Tattva Bodh, go through it again.
Okay. Yeah, I'll do that.
Tattva Bodh Bhagavan has explained in very simple terms. Okay.
So, Jayaji,
yes.
Is Vishwa and Prajna and Tejas are same like Jiva?
Yeah, Tejas, yes. Jiva is the individual. Yes, correct. And
So
Ishvara
all these terms are for Jiva.
Yes.
Okay. And so the difference between Jiva and these three words could be difference of their function or their power or something.
The Jiva's causal body, vasanas, are that what we call vasanas, and we studied that whole chapter, whole section on vasanas, which we have collected and brought. They all belong to the Jiva. Okay, and the Taijasa is the mind intellect of the Jiva.
Oh, okay.
And the gross body is the body of the Jiva. It is body of the Jiva. The body is not the Jiva.
Yeah, body of the Jiva. Okay.
Body of the Jiva, mind of the Jiva, vasanas of the Jiva. Except the Jiva thinks that I am the body.
Prajna usually means Gyan, right?
Yeah, Pradnya. Yeah. Pradnya. This is Pradnya. Pradnya. And the reason it is called Pradnya is because there is all the hidden knowledge of what desires are going to come in our mind, how our body is going to act. All these things are in subtle form in this Pradnya, Vasana level. Okay?
Thank you.
All right. Ghatakasham, Mahakasham. Okay. So this Brahmanda and Pindanda, these words in the second line of 289, Brahmanda is the macrocosm and Pindanda is the microcosm. Okay. That is what it is. Brahmandam api pindandam tyajata. So he's saying you discard both microcosm and microcosm and reach the Om, which is at the right at the top of both. All right. Okay. Chidatmani sadanande deharudhamaham dhyam niveshya lingam mutsruja kevalo bhava sarvada. Shifting your identification, which is now fixed in the body, to the Atman, which is existence, knowledge, bliss, absolute, rejecting the subtle body, may you become ever the pure self alone. This is a blessing. May you become. Bhagavan is blessing us. What should we become? We should become the Satchit Ananda, existence, knowledge, bliss, absolute. Satchit Ananda, the pure consciousness. So he's blessing us that may you become. And how do I become that? By shifting identification, which is now fixed in the body. What does that mean? It's a thought. I am the body. Thought. It's only a thought. I am the body. And then rejecting the subtle body. Because why is he specifying? Because you see, I'll say I'm not the body. I'm the mind. That is what I will think. That's why he's saying you have to reject the body, gross body. You have to also reject the subtle body. And ego lies in the subtle body. So rejecting both, he says, come to know your pristine self. Okay, that's what he's saying. Shifting your identification, which is now fixed. That's why in 15, we saw the concept of Jiva. Why, if Jiva is false, why is Bhagavan talking about Jiva? He's giving us a step to step on. Instead of going from first rung of the ladder to third, which will be difficult, he has given us this middle rung, which is the jiva. So here you can say from gross body, go to subtle body. And then go up above beyond subtle body also. So that's why I told you the most basic mistake is I'm the body. At least please do not think yourself as the body. It is better to think yourself of jiva than as the body. Because jiva is formless. It is clean. See, body is made out of impurities. They're not, Bhagavan has never said the subtle bodies, there are impurities in the subtle body. But a sattvic mind is a very pure mind. And jiva is formless. Jiva doesn't have flesh and bone and marrow, and Jiva doesn't have. And Mama eva ansha jivaha. Bhagavan said, Jiva is my part. That means it is pristine. It is clean. It is very pure. But that Jiva, being, in spite of being that pure, considers himself to be impure. Now what to do? What to do? That's why masters, spiritual masters, only they can have compassion for us. Poor thing. He is very, he's the supreme Brahman, but he's thinking himself to be the body. Now what can I do? That's why they write books and they write 600 verses, hammer, hammer, hammer. That's all they can do. But sometimes we are so incorrigible. No matter how much we read, we're back to square one. I am the body. So that's why you should be careful. Kevalo bhava sarvada. Always, at all times, consider yourself to be that Atman. Yatraisha jagada bhasaha darpanantapuram yatha tad brahmahamiti nyatva kritakrityo bhavishyasi. That in which there is the illusion of the universe, just as the city in the mirror, that Brahman you are. Knowing this, you will experience that fulfillment of your life. Now, this is a very subtle example of city in the mirror. It is Bhagavan Shankaracharya has talked about this city in the mirror in his Dakshinamurti Stotram. There this idea comes, and here he has hinted at it. So let's see what does he mean? What is he saying here first? Let's see. The universe is an illusion like a city in a mirror. So forget the city part. What he's saying is this universe is like a reflection in the mirror. Okay. So in front of the mirror, whatever is there, that reflection is there. Now, if the mirror is facing towards rain, water falling, there's a waterfall, say, and there is a mirror. Now, in the reflection also, the water is falling, but the reflection of that water, is it making the mirror wet? That is how this is to be understood. Okay. Now, this mirror is in front of an elephant. Okay. And the elephant who is standing in front of the mirror is pounding its feet. So the reflection also is pounding the feet, right? Because reflection is exactly same as object. Now the reflection pounding the feet, is it breaking the mirror? It is not breaking the mirror, right? So the idea is, okay, or if the mirror is in front of a fire, so there's a fireplace going and there is a big mirror in front of it. Now you will, in the reflection, you will see the fire. Is that fire burning the mirror? It is not burning the mirror. Okay. So this point is to be understood. Now, Bhagavan is saying that this universe, this world is like that reflection. Just so what is it reflecting in? It is reflecting in the mirror of consciousness. So the reflection of the water, the fire, and the elephant, just as those reflections had absolutely could not touch the mirror in any way. This universe, whatever is happening in this universe, cannot touch the supreme consciousness, the substratum, in any way. That is the comparison. Is it clear? Whatever may be happening in the universe, COVID is happening, fire is happening. We had snow, we had huge rainstorm. Vancouver, there was flooding, and BC, there was flooding, and highways got washed away, and whatever. It is, all of this is like a reflection is an illusion. So the point is that this universe is an illusion, and an illusion cannot affect the substratum. Just as the snake can never affect the rope. The mirage water can never wet the sand. Does it? Can it? It can't. Therefore, the supreme substratum always remains untouched, because of which it is extremely pure, extremely pristine. Nothing can touch it. Like the mirror. You see the reflection of fire, you see the reflection of water, you see the reflection of an elephant pounding its legs. And is anything happening to the mirror? It is not. That's why the city in the mirror is a very subtle, important thought in this Vedanta Prakriya, it is called. Vedantic principles, one of the principles, this should be understood very well. This has to be understood to realize that the universe is an illusion. It is illusory. We have said that many times. This is another example. So if this you can remember, then remember it like that. Okay. Tad Brahmahamiti Nyatva, having known that you are that mirror, you are not. I am thinking that the world is real. But the world is like a reflection. It is a reflection. Where is that reflection happening? Because of you, that reflection is standing outside there. Because you are awake, you see the world. When you're asleep, the world disappears. Where did it go? It's not there for you. Therefore, it is not real. So, tad Brahma aham iti nyatva. That is the word. Nyatva, having known. Having known what? That I am that substratum, I am the Brahman, I am the mirror, I am not the world. Kritakrityo bhavati, bhavishyasi. Kritakritya word I have explained in great detail in chapter 15, but I'm going to explain it now. For those who have not, do not attend that lecture, that's what, sometimes it happens, I've explained this already, do I repeat it? But then I think that there are some people who have not attended that. So Kritakritya has two aspects to it. Having done whatever is to be done and having achieved whatever is to be achieved. So, you know, we have a saying, been there, done that, don't want to do it again. That is Kritakritya. When you have that complete satisfaction that there remains nothing for me to do, and that satisfaction you will get only when having known that Brahman I am. That is the fulfillment of life. That is moksha. That is mukti. That is liberation. Where you will, right now, we are at a stage where we always think that there is something to be achieved and that there is something to be gained, and therefore I'm running after it. Why am I running? Because I think there is something to be achieved. You will reach a stage where you will realize that you are the substratum of this entire universe. There will be nothing to be done, nothing to be achieved. Kritakritya, very important word in Vedanta. Kritakritya, having done whatever is to be done, nothing remains to be done. And that's when the running stops. Because when you know that there is nothing to be achieved, as spiritual seekers, there are three duties, you can say this. One duty is towards our parents, which never ends until the parents pass on. So if you have done your duty to the full extent to your parents, you can be kritakritya with respect to that. And that will end, because parents are not going to be there permanently. That will end. The next one is to the society. Nru Runa. Nru is society. So the debt to the society means for us to do voluntary work, to give charity, to do something for the society. That will remain as long as you think you're an individual. Why? I told you. As long as you think that you are part of the team, a member of the team leader is important to you. You must do things for the team. Not that do things means it's valid. Team leader is valid as long as you're part of the team. Suppose if you resign from the team, then the team leader is not valid anymore for you. So as long as you think that you're an individual, you need the society around you. You need the totality. You cannot say, that, oh, I am COVID free. Let the whole universe have COVID. I don't care. Arey, how will you survive if the whole universe is gone? So as long as that individuality is there, your responsibility to the society remains, and you must do that in whichever way that you can, okay? Not that whichever way that you can help, you help. And that when you fulfill that, you will become krita kritya with respect to the society. And the last one is Rishi Rina. Rishis are those, the seers, who have gotten this knowledge in their higher states of meditation. Which knowledge? Knowledge in the Vedas, knowledge of the Upanishads. And so studying the Vedas means what? Upanishads, Bhagavad Gita, for us, even Prakran Granthas. Tattvabodh, Atmabodh, Vivekachudamani, Drigdrishya, all that Prakran Granthas fall under Shruti for us at our stage. Studying that becomes our kartavya, our duty. And then after that, after studying, that is one part, that is also that to become krita kritya, you must study, and then you must also teach if you can. Okay, and this last responsibility remains until you have realized yourself, your own self. And that these three, if you are doing your duties to your parents, if you're doing your duties to the society, in which means duty to the society is helping the society. Okay, so in my condo, if they have put a rule that if I step outside my door, I should have a mask, I should be wearing, that's my duty now, to wear a mask when I step outside of my door. So you follow. If they've told you to wear a mask when you go into superstore or any store, then it becomes our duty. That is our duty to the society. So not only that you're protecting yourself, I'm giving you the example of mask because this is very, very, right now it's going on. You're protecting others as well. So that becomes your duty, your responsibility to the society, for the society. And studying the Vedas, it is our responsibility to Rishi. So at our level, this krita kritya that Bhagavan is talking about here is the highest krita kritya, that is moksha. Okay, but at our level, how can I be krita kritya at our level? By doing these three things. So krita kritya at a lower level, and then the highest level of krita kritya is attaining moksha, recognizing my oneness with Brahman. Okay, any questions?
I have one question.
Yeah.
When you said Rishi and Rana, not all the people, for example, I cannot be a teacher because I don't even have capability to even think of it.
It is not that everybody, but studying everybody can do, na?
That's right. Okay.
Yeah. It's not, if you can. It was a great fortune, my merit from past lives that fructified, that I got a chance to go and study, right? See, you have to understand that not everybody who studies can teach. Teaching is a different skill. Studying is a different skill. So the minimum responsibility is to study, which even not everybody can do. We are running classes. Majority of the people, class attendance is, as compared to the majority of the population, class attendance is, it's always like that. It's not just, okay. So if you have the capacity to teach, and if you got a chance, then it is repaying the debt to my guru. Because as I've mentioned, the guru, spiritual guru never needs money, never asks for money. All he's saying is, whatever I've taught you, if you can, and that too, he doesn't force. If I tell Guruji, I don't want to teach, he'll say, yeah, that's fine. But if I feel that I feel gratitude, that he has given me so much knowledge, and if I can share it, then let me share it as long as I can, because I don't know when. Even to teach, it requires so much punya is getting exhausted. When that merit will get exhausted, I don't know. When the mind will say, oh no, it's so boring now, I don't want to study anymore. The mind is very treacherous. So as long as the mind doesn't say that, I will continue doing it, right? Or anything can happen to the body. Don't know. That's what it is. Not that everybody has to teach, but reading, studying is every weekend. Right? So we'll stop here today. Any questions?
Jayaji, I had another question.
Mm-hmm.
Not a question, but on a personal level, if we in the house, if you make things you like, you're actually increasing your vasanas then. Is that correct?
No, you do not increase a vasana by making things that you like. You increase your vasana by having a longing for those things. So you make them once and then constantly thinking, when is the next time I can make this? When is the next time? Then you go on making it on a daily basis. You get habituated to it. Then you're creating a vasana. Okay. Normally, of course, nobody makes things that they don't like. The difference is, suppose, just today I was talking to a friend of mine and now she has been diagnosed with high sugar. I said, eat Karela, right? Now she doesn't like that. Nobody likes Karela. But now it is becoming a duty. You like it. I like it too, honestly. But now it's a duty. Now what you do is, even if you don't like it, you eat it because it's a duty to your body.
Yeah. So
then you're not creating a vasana.
Yeah. So that's what I was going to ask you. Is the progress going to be faster if you make things you don't like, and then that way you will not be attached to the things you like?
Progress will be faster if you actually go beyond like and dislike.
Yeah, that's true.
Go beyond. So become neutral.
Yeah.
Neutral. Okay. The way to become neutral, is it my duty to make this thing or not? That is the way to become neutral. You may not like something, but there might be some other family member who likes it. Then as a duty to that family member, you must do. And even if you don't like it, you eat it or whatever. So the criteria should not be whether I like it or not like it. The criteria should be, is it my duty to do or not to do?
Okay. That clarifies it. Thank you.
That is the criteria. That's why in Karma Yoga, now we'll study in chapter 3, the Kartavya Buddhi. Idea of duty has to be superimposed even on breathing, eating, seeing, everything. Is it my duty or is it not my duty? If it's not your duty, stay away. Don't do. And if it's your duty, do it even if you don't like it. All right. So we'll stop for today. We'll meet next Friday.